Hello, hello. Welcome to the first base cam Great Lakes Kill Team video. Today this is going to be a little
A
different.
nasty face reveal.
Yeah, it's a big face reveal. I shaved for today. My wife put me in the
So
basement.
did I.
Today we're going to talk
Mm.
about an upcoming team event that Davey and I are attending. It's going to be a five-man team event. It is WTC scoring. I believe there's 8 teams that we have right now.
Yes,
Uh,
eight.
Yep, 8 teams. And then sort of the format of this as a community, we sort of talked about making no super teams. So we sort of spread out all of the players and tried to bring more people into the community. So this is sort of an attempt to get some newer faces in, get people exposed to not only the team event but just competitive play in general. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
sort of
mean,
the format. Go ahead.
as you're looking at it, there's a couple of people in there who just couldn't help themselves, as you would expect. But I wouldn't say there's an out and out like super team. Obviously, I
Yeah.
think probably the main offender there is obviously Voyan, and everyone knew that was going to be the case. Just burn him a little bit there. But no, it's a good idea, right? I think as someone who's played in a bunch of 40k events with um, a 40k event a team by the name of Blunt Force Trauma, who are functionally just Team Canada by any other name, going into an event and just being like, "Cool, I can't wait to like applaud for those guys at the end of it." Right?
Right.
It's not. It's a bit kind of shite. It doesn't really. If 40k were a smaller community, it would affect it, but it's not, so it doesn't. So we'd rather
Yeah.
treat this well and help the community as well.
Yeah, and I think literally all the teams coming have a shot because we did that.
Yeah,
So it's not solved like you're talking about in 40K, where you're just like, all right, here
no,
you go, you've won. It's actually pretty interesting, and I think that sort of segues us into like why we're talking about this. It's cool to see not only the faction diversity that we have here, but trying to pick apart why people chose these lists and sort of what difficulty that does in pairings and sort of like how we'd approach it. We also
yeah.
have the first round pairing, so that'll be a little bit interesting to talk about as well.
Oh, I'm here for that. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's there's obviously an element to this, as it's always going to be, where you are largely defined by the team that you can play. And if
Yep.
you are a mono team or if you're a specialist, that's great. We love having that in teams. And if you're someone who's a bit more flexible and can play a multitude of roles on the team, that's also pretty helpful.
Yep.
And so, yeah, we're going to see that as we go down these, especially if you're listening to this, either you're in the Great Lakes Kill Team server, you're planning to join it. If you're in Command Point, you can just leave it. It's fine. But if you're in Command Point and you're listening to this, you might recognize a couple of these names, but associate them with different teams. And that's going to be pretty cool, I imagine, to see and find out.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, so without further ado, shall we jump into it?
Yeah, let's hop into it. I've got the list up here, and I think you're looking at it as well. So the
I am.
the first team is captained by George, aka Slim, aka I'm sure he's got a few other ones.
He's got a few bad ones, unfortunately, but that's his problem, not ours.
Yeah, exactly. His team is Angel Garcia playing Death Watch. George is playing Angels of Death. Mr. Joe Higginson is playing Tempestus Aquilons. Spencer's on Hernkin Jaegers, as I've been corrected. And Mr. Steve Welch is on Mandrakes.
Yeah. I think the big one immediately that jumps out to me on this team, and it's kind of been the one to watch. For context, we've ran 2 practice rounds into this team.
Yep.
And so we kind of know a couple of bits and pieces here. I think the big one to watch here is Joe Higginson, mainly because he has just been that super consistent Star Striders main for the longest period of time, and we're finally seeing them. I don't know how it works. Become classified, declassified,
Declassified.
unclassified.
Declassified.
Just make it fucking easier, legal or not, right?
True.
But anyway, but we are Troy. If you're driving down with Ben, I'm very sorry that I just used a bad word. But yeah. So I think Joe is really the one to watch on this team, right? You have him. He's obviously tried Sanctifiers. He doesn't have access to Jaegers because Spencer's on the team, and I think that's important to point out when we look at these teams. For those of you unaware, you cannot bring a duplicate team. So that's why we're kind of seeing the diversity here. So yeah, I think as I look at this, I mean, George has played a bit of Angels of Death before. Angel, if it doesn't have power armor, he's not interested in playing it. He said something about playing Navy Breachers if he gets a golden ticket. And you know, I ain't buying it, but okay, big dog. You know what I mean? And then with Spencer and Steve as well. Joe is the big standout, right?
Yeah.
Those are all players. Those other 4 players have all played those factions for as long as I can remember or have access to them. Joe on Accolons is a big one. So, Joe, no pressure, big dog. But
push,
it's on you.
Push.
It's on you. Push. You got to push. He's not giving birth.
He could.
He could. He could. I believe in him. So yeah, I'd like to. I think Joe's going to be the one at the end of this, and as much as I don't want to put pressure on him, but pressure makes diamonds. I think this team lives and dies on the strength of Joe's results. Which is a lot of fucking pressure on the big dog.
I agree too, and we sort of used the term pushing there, but you want to give everyone sort of an idea of what that means and like why I use that term, maybe.
Yeah, 100%. So when you play a game of WTC scoring-based kill team, your score is reflected not any win or loss. It's not a binary format. For every point you beat your opponent by, you take 1 point back to your team, right?
Yep.
So when a game starts and you're on 0-0, you take 10 points, your opponent takes 10 points for every point that you gain. So if you win a game 11-9, for example, it's pretty straight. Or sorry, 11-10, then that is an 11-9 win. You take an extra point away and you take 1 away from your opponent, right?
Yep.
And so pushing is the act of trying to create as much of a differential in points as possible so that you're taking back the maximum of 20 points to your team and giving your opponent's team 0. And to get a win in a WTC Kill Teams event, it is 54 points across 5 games.
Yep.
So you can imagine once you take that 20 back to your team in the other 4 games, you only need to score 34 points. It makes an enormous difference in how easy it is for your team to do that, right? And that's kind of what I think they're probably looking for from Joe here, is that little element of push from him.
Yeah, I think so too. Like the people that stand out as like the ones to push and get points, I think is Joe, and then Steve as well on Mandrakes. Like Mandrakes are sort of cracked right now. So there's a couple Canoptic players in this tournament, and we saw at Worlds, Mandrakes was like the counter to that. So if they can get good pairings and try and put Steve into Canoptic, I could see that working out for them as well. And they have flank, right? I think flank teams right now are just really, really good at scoring. So you have Aquilons that can play flank, you have Mandrakes that can play flank. If you set those up right with pairings and on the right boards, you can just start the game with like 8 points. And that's really, really hard to claw your way back from. So I think those are the 2 that sort of stand out to me as like big potential pushing.
100%. And Steve's a bit of a baby-faced assassin as well as the other thing. He comes across pretty unassuming, and then you're like, oh, I lost by 10 points. Whoopsie poopsie, my bad.
Exactly.
So yeah. Not to glaze them too much. Who we got next?
The El Salvadorian Vacation. So we got Aiden on Angels of Death, Big Brendan Pace on Wolf Scouts, David Fag on Mandrakes, Tosi Suji, sorry if I butchered your name, on Nemclaw.
Nailed it, dude. This is why I don't do the names.
I'm going to do the names. I'm ripping them all. And then Vivek Ramesh on Canoptic Circle. What are your first thoughts on this one?
Straight up, my first thoughts. Shout out Brendan Pace, the only player in this entire event to have his BCP name be entirely in lowercase. Just hit fucking shift, big dog, like twice. That's all you got to do.
Nah.
Holy moly.
Maybe it's broken.
Yeah, true. I think obviously we have the 2 big culprits there in David and Vivek.
Yep.
David's on Mandrakes, as we talked about. They're a bit of a problematic team at the moment. I think the interesting thing there is that David is typically a fairly conservative player. So it might not, that's quite a disparate play style where you're probably looking for David to push. Simultaneously, he's pretty conservative. So how do you marry those 2? And then I think the other one for me is probably Aiden on Angels of Death. If you've seen Aiden play a couple of games before, he primarily plays Void Dancers, who are now no longer tournament legal. He lived and died by a lot of VDT strats as someone who's probably been domino fielded by him a couple of times. I think both of us are very aware of that.
Oh, yeah.
And so to watch him now play Angels of Death should be relatively interesting. I'm just checking here. So he's gone for Hardy as his primary and aggressive as his secondary chapter tactic. I know Hardy obviously is Crypt 5's. Aggressive is the...
I believe they all get rending on the chain swords.
Interesting. Okay. So I think that maybe signals a little bit about what the team's intent is, right? That Aiden's probably going to have to push a bit of differential if that's the plan. So those are kind of the 2 the two big markers that stand out for me. I know that we have in the tournament 3. Sorry, I'm very bad at math. I think it's 3.
Angels?
No, Wolf Scouts players. You have 3
Yep.
total Wolf Scout players and 3 Angels of Death players, actually. Those are
Got it.
Neck and neck. And Brendan's obviously the first of those that we're going to talk about.
Yep.
I think Wolf Scouts are obviously problematic, I think is fair to say. It's maybe a conservative way of putting it, but they are solved isn't a fair thing to say, but I think paired well and pushed into inopportune scenarios, you can keep them at bay.
Yep.
Which is ironic given the phrase keep the wolves at bay. But you have to have the knowledge to do that, right? So if you can keep Brendan contained, that's fine. And if you cannot keep him contained, then that's going to be problematic. This is a team that I think could easily win around 120-0, but they could also find themselves in a scenario where none of them push and they take a short loss. It's such a weird little composition here.
Yep. Yeah, I think the other one which is interesting is Vivek obviously had that big run where he played Corsairs and almost ran a perfect tournament over like 5 or 6 rounds. But that was on Corsairs, which I think are much better at pushing. On Canoptic, I think you're probably, this is my thoughts on Canoptic, you can sort of pair them into almost anything just because they're so broken right now. So I think they're a good defender, but they're not a good pusher. They also play retrieve a lot, which I don't think it lends itself well to big scoring. So you probably won't see big points out of Vivek just due to the team and due to the play style at the moment. So I think you're right. It has to sort of lean on Brendan, Aiden. Aiden's also a really aggressive player. That probably comes from just like the Void Dancer bullshit. But every time I've played against him, he's just incredibly aggressive. So it's a little coin flippy, but at the same time, you want someone like that who's pushing for points to just like be in your face and pushing and taking those aggressive plays. So I think you're right. And it's like Aiden and Brendan are pushing for all those points. I think because of the way David plays, like you said, he's going to be another good person to like set the floor, you know, come back with a good score every single time and not lose by a large margin. I think there's Tosh as well. I think Tosh has been out to a couple tournaments recently and he's been playing a lot. He's on Nemclaw. I think him and David Fag are buddies. So David is historically just played Nemclaw for like a year straight. So I'm assuming he's imparted a lot of his wisdom on to Tosh here.
More than likely, yeah. I have to imagine that. This is very Karate Kid type scenario or whatever that film's called. I've never seen it. The one with Will Smith.
Yeah, Karate Kid.
Yeah, see? Yeah. Cool. Oh, fuck. Right, next up, I know it. Yeah.
The Sultans of Slop, which is us.
Sultans of Slop.
So we've got the Scone Freak himself. We got Carl. We've got me. Oh, Carl's playing Plague Marines because he doesn't know how to play anything else. We've got myself. I'm playing Vespids because my brain barely works.
That's true.
You're playing Wolf Scouts because your brain barely works. Hey. We've got Joe Carino, who can also only play at Tempestus Aquilons.
Yeah.
And then the 40k mastermind, Mr. Ryan Pierce. He's playing Canoptic Circle because he only plays Necrons.
He only plays Necrons. I mean, the team wrote itself.
It did.
The only like 2 points that we had here that were like fairly flip-floppy was that there was chat of me playing Falco Ravagers and I played sort of 4 games on it. And then I was like Rosemary Kennedy. Like I had a full lobotomy and like it ruined me. To quote the piece that it says about her, to calm the mood swings, but left her permanently incapacitated, unable to walk or speak properly. And that was me after 2 games on
How the fuck do you remember that shit?
What's that?
How do you remember that quote?
How do I remember Rosemary Kennedy had a lobotomy? Are you Are you just not a fucking historian, dude? Holy
no, I'm
shit.
playing Vespids. What do you think?
Yeah, it's fair, by the way. It's fair. So no, the team largely wrote itself ever so slightly. I've been playing Wolf Scouts largely out of spite. I don't really like them that much. I find every playline they have is kind of boring and a bit disinteresting, but I also have to prove that they are fucking broken, so I'm going to just keep playing them until... I mean, I think everyone largely agrees at this point that they are fucking busted. I don't think that's really up for debate anymore, but there was some discourse about how, like, no, they're fine, but absolutely not. They're fucking nonsense. So there's that. Ryan Pierce is just... He exists as a human. You had to take 5 people to this. He was a mammal with a head that was available, and so we brought him. We stuck him on Canoptic Circle because, I mean, I think my granddad could play them, and he's been dead for 16 years, so I think we're okay. And then we have obviously Joe on Aquilon's played a bunch of them. If I had to put pressure on anyone on our team, I think I would have to put it on the man who can stand up to it, and that man is Carl.
Yep.
You can put him in the most strenuous circumstances. Carl, to me, is like a blood diamond. He excels in the most tumultuous circumstances imaginable, right? And that's what we're going to give him at this teams event. So enjoy those pairings, big dog, because I want you to come back with at least 10s, minimum 10s, Carl.
Minimum 10s. Damn. How did our test round go with Carl?
Well, if you add up both games, it was less than 10. But that's fine. It's test. It's fine. No, I think we have a largely good team. I think we at least have a plan for how to pair it, which I think is half the battle.
Yep.
At this kind of thing. You could take 5 broken teams, and if you pair it like dog shit, it's not really going to help you.
Right.
Remember, you'll probably recall when we ran that team event at Maple Leaf, which you weren't at, so you won't recall it. A lot of people took, I say a lot, at least 3 teams took Raveners, the Tyranid team, expecting that they would be pretty good, and they just weren't, because you could just put them on bad missions and just be like, this is your mission, big dog, too bad. And they couldn't cope with it. So, I think, I mean, we're going 0-3, but at this point in time, I do like our chances.
Yeah. And no, all the guys are great. Jokes aside on Carl, I think Plague Marines is a great team to sort of like set that tone and set that floor and try and come back with a 10. I think that's one of the reasons why it works on our team. I think the only other thing, without divulging too much about our comp, is we picked 2 teams that can play flank. That might be our only points for the whole day. 3 teams, I guess, actually, the Wolves too can play flank.
Yeah,
so
they can. I mean, I'm never doing it. Spoiler, but they can.
I would never.
No.
The other thing I'll say that you sort of alluded to is Ravs. We tested a bit of Ravs, and it worked out okay. But I think the part that didn't work for us was like, you save on 5s, you can just die to a melt gun. You can just die to all this stuff. Like, you don't hit that 5 up on stuff like that, you're just going to get one shot, and every model's a kill-out point. So
it's all a point. The variability was way too high, and I think if we, how do I put this? I'm not trying to be disparaging, to be fair, as much as I'm poking fun, I'm not trying to be disparaging. I think if we had a safe pair of hands across the 4 other teams and player compositions, it's fine. Like, I think if everyone's like consistently like a minimum getting an 8, like, don't worry about it, I'm pulling an 8. You can try something a bit riskier like Raveners, but where we don't have that safe floor, it means we can't take that risky other play with Raveners, right? So that's kind of another reason why they were put by the wayside and sort of put a bullet in them. Yeah, giving up a kill-out point for every operative that dies is absolutely absurd. How many what'd you call it? How many Deathwatch players are there? 4.
There's a lot of Deathwatch.
Lads.
Yep. No Rabs though. Oh no. No Rabs, yeah.
No Rabs. No, Charlie's on Rekkas.
Yep.
3 Rekkas actually, which is a bit crazier than I thought it would be. I digress. I think we'll be okay. We'll be fine. 0-3, definitely.
0-3, we'll get one back at Beers.
Easy peasy.
I didn't talk about something that I wanted to chat about really quick, which was the board layout, which definitely influenced some of this for us and other teams. It's going to be 2 Volcus maps. It's going to be 1 Tomb World map, 1 ITD, and then 1 WTC. So you obviously see Vespids on ours, and you see, I think there's 1 or 2 other Vespid players. And same thing with like Aquilons. There's 3 open maps and only 2 close quarters. So I think that influenced a lot of the teams that you're sort of seeing here. It definitely will influence the pairings and how you approach all that type of stuff, which I think was pretty interesting.
Yeah. WTC, if you haven't read it, read it.
Yes, 100%. Because
don't just assume you'll get there on the day. It's not going to work.
All right. Next one.
Here we go.
Team name pending. We have Dan Pooling. Shut up.
No, it's not you. Team name pending. Like, lads, figure it the fuck out. Like the Barry Bastards or something like that. You know what I mean? Holy moly, it writes itself.
There you go. Dan Pooling on Blades of Cain, Dylan Yole on Canoptek, Heather Lamour on Nemesis Claw, Jesse King on Mandrakes, and Robert Leclerc on Rekka Crew. I think this team's hella spooky.
That team's sick, by the way. What the fuck? I didn't. This is my first time seeing that. I hate that. How the fuck do you pair that?
I don't want
That
to deal
is
with any of those.
diabolical. No, I hold on. Let me just scroll a little bit down. I have no idea what you first defend across everyone's team. I don't know what you first defend into that to get success out of your first pairing. That is criminal stuff. Holy Moses.
Yeah, and I think there's stuff like Wrecker Crew, like you said, there's a few of them, and there's a shitload of elites at this event. I think Rekkas start to poop on elites just because once you get a few Rekka points, you just start one-shotting Marines and stuff like that. They have Canoptic here, which is, like I said, a really good floor. It's safe into pretty much anything. You have Mandrakes, which can push score really highly. Blades of Cain, I think Blades of Cain is a really sick pick in the team's environment.
I do as well, yeah.
They have access to every TAC op, so they're probably pretty map agnostic and probably pretty mission agnostic. Maybe not that one as much, but depending on the map, you can sort of tailor your team to that circumstance, which tack up for which matchup. So you're always going to keep it like probably around like the 50, 50, 50, 55, 45 as far as like a matchup spread goes. So
yeah.
I think Blades Kane is a really sick pick, and I think Dan's the one to watch out for because of that. I think if he can like mastermind all of like the scenarios when he sits down at a map, I think they're going to be in a really good spot.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I was so surprised to see George not take Blades of Cain, because they are such a good team at, as you say, the matchups this, the missions this, or the maps this. They just have such a degree of variance in how they approach every single game.
Yep.
I think there's just such an asset to have as a really good Blades of Cain player in teams. So nice one, George, you fucking idiot. Dylan Yole on Canoptic as well. I think you talked a little bit about that. He's finally off of what's that horrible team you're building at the moment?
Higher Tech.
Idiot. He's finally off that. He's come to wreck shit. The only thing I think that can hold Dylan back, based entirely on the 2 games I've played him so far, is his dice. Because he whatever is the opposite of a horseshoe, he doesn't have. Like, he's unlucky as fuck.
Yeah.
Heather, I'm not so much familiar with, nor Jesse, nor Robert, but I am scared of. I'm scared of this team in general. They've really nailed their faction picks, and I'm kind of worried about them, to be honest with you.
Yeah. The other thing is, because like I've never met the other 3 as well, and I'm stoked to meet you all, but I don't know how any of you guys play. So you guys are going to show up and like I'm just going to get my teeth kicked in and I'm going to be sad. So look forward to that.
Yeah. I'm going to be like, oh, they seem fairly conservative, and then you just fucking run at me and get the shit out of me.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no. Okay, you can do this one on you.
Oh, the team is the Fanta 5 tick, Captain Charlie summons Wagnarok. We have Benjamin Smith. Yeah, you love that. I know how much you love that. I'm gonna read his other name too. Benjamin Smith is on Vespids. Callum Magar, sorry if I butchered that, is on Brood Bros. Charlie Ravener, I hardly knew her. Hashtag Team Charlie is on Wrecker Crew.
Don't do the
hashtag Matteo Giorgio on Hernkin Jaegers and Thomas Gordon on Aquilons. This is another one back to back where I'm like, I don't want to fucking deal with this in pairings. This seems like another fucking nightmare where it's just 5 really good teams. And they have, again, Aquilons and Vespids for flank, which I think are really good at pushing. Like, nobody is playing Brood Brothers right now. So I've played 1 game of Brood Brothers in probably the last 6 months. If I get paired into that, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. And then I
had to go read earlier. I saw like 2 Brood Brothers on the thing. Or sorry, a Brood Brothers player on the like faction, and was like, what? Had to go read it. I have no fucking idea what they do. The last guy I played was Mark at the last Teams event on Brood Brothers.
Yep.
Fucking nightmare. Yeah. At least they have Rekkas. Like, I wish we had Rekkas, to be honest with you. They're so good.
We'll make Carl
They're so good.
Time.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll just kill them. But no, they're very, very stable. And I think you'll find that as this probably isn't as translatable for yourself, Dave, but in 40k with 8 players on a team, and there's room for like a faction, couple of faction specialists, and then a couple of like the most broken factions at any point in time. And there's very seldom a time when you are playing on a 40k team event where you lament not having something, because you have access to it, or you have someone that can learn it, or whatever the case may be.
Yep.
But there is a lot of times going into this where, like, with only 5 players and a limited amount of time, you do lament the lack of a team, right? Like, I don't have a lot of experience playing Rekkas. I imagine you're probably the same, like, haven't played a lot of games with them, if any. And so you do kind of go like, shit, like if we had that piece of it. And yeah, it feels like these guys have really nailed that part of the puzzle. Jaeger's a surprisingly popular pick as well. I didn't
Yep.
really see that coming off, but yeah, that half damage play is going to catch people out something chronic.
The half damage play is going to catch people and the mines as well. Like if there's a good Jaeger player and they know where to place their mines, how to fuck up staging or just stop people from charging, and if you get a good matchup into that, the
Hmm.
mines can just win and lose the game almost from deployment. So
Yeah,
I think you'll see a lot of that if the teams can leverage that. I think that's going to help them push points a lot.
yeah.
Um, and then I think Brood Bros will catch people off guard here. I think the
Hmm.
Aquilon stuff is really, really good given the map layouts and stuff. So yeah, like you said in the last one, I don't know what to first defend against this team. So good luck us.
Yeah, we'll lose. It's fine.
Yep.
um, please after you because this name's actually worse than the previous one. So please after you.
Oh, I would expect nothing less than Mr. Jaspoon. That's his stage name, so I'm not going to say his real name. The
True.
The People's Democratic Republic of Little St. James. Not sure what that's about, but there's
Has to be some kind of niche reference to
yeah.
something idiotic.
So these are all the Chimera Gaming dudes. So you got Andrew Hayhurst, who's playing Chaos Cult, Andrew Skyer, who's playing Death Watch, Devin Opersko playing Wrecka Crew,
Nailed it.
Jaspoon's on Stealth Suits, which is
Yeah.
fucked, and then Voyan's on Farstalker Kinban, which is also fucked.
That is pretty. I mean, it is pretty fucked. Let's be clear in advance. Also, I do understand the reference from the People's Democratic Republic of
I
Little
do
St.
too.
James.
Don't worry.
You nasty little fucks. So Hayhurst on Chaos Cults. Obviously, you've played a bunch of Chaos Cults before. How do you think they sit in a team's format?
I think they're quite good in a teams format. Um, and I think one of the people on this team, as far as like pushing points, I think it could be Hayhurst here, because
Yeah,
if you can sort of cupcake matchup Chaos Cult, the matchups that they win really really hard. So I think this is one of those ones where if you can get him on the right board against the right team, he's just gonna clean up.
yeah.
So he's a spooky one for me. I think if they're good at eyeing the pairings and figuring that out, he's gonna do really really well. The other interesting one that I saw here is like Jason and Voyan on Farstalker and Stealth Suits. I don't think they're good at pushing either of those teams. So that was sort of interesting for me to see. But they're obviously two really, really good players. And I think they sort of maybe approach this differently where they're like, we want to guarantee like a good floor. So our two more experienced players, they're setting the stage, they're setting the floor, and then
Yeah.
they're helping set up matchups for the rest of their team to maybe push, which is maybe I think a lot different than what you're seeing on some of the other teams, which is cool.
That's a good idea. I didn't actually consider that, but yeah, that's a good way to think about it. We also talked quite a bit, you and I, going into this about how we both think Crew are very good in teams.
Yep.
And I own Crew. I just really didn't have the time to put the work in to get them up to snuff
Yep.
prior to the event. But I do stand by. I think Crew are pretty good. So yeah, again, another team to watch. I think other teams out here that we've looked at so far are they're strong. Each individual kill team that they've brought is strong, and as a whole, it makes it a very interesting thing. This team is going to live and die by its pairings,
Yep.
100%. Um, any and all success that they find is going to be down to how skillfully they pair across each individual round. So
Yep.
it wouldn't surprise me to see this team go 3-0, and it wouldn't surprise me to see this team go 0-3. Like everything's possible for them, I think.
Yeah.
No pressure, whoever's doing your pairings, by the way.
The other big part that I think this team has going for it more than maybe any other team is I don't really have a good understanding of how Farstalkers play the game because no one really plays them, and the same thing goes for Stealth Suits. Like all the other teams that we've sort of seen so far, I've played into them a lot. I understand their mechanics. I've played against Stealth Suits once. I've played against Kroot maybe 3 times in my life, and that's probably going to be how it is for most people. So
Yeah,
you might see them just get a leg up in pairings where they understand better than anybody else what's a good matchup and a bad matchup.
yeah,
And I think you said this to me where it's like if you get that matchup like Matrix wrong, it's devastating. If you go into it and
yeah,
be like, we just paired a win, but you actually paired a loss, you're gonna lose that round. because that's
Yeah.
how you like really, really bleed a lot of points. So
Yeah.
I could see that out of
Yeah.
these guys.
Especially if your assumption is that you are scoring X, or that that your teammates are scoring X. Um, and you don't have anyone to communicate that. You think, oh, it's safe. I can like drop a diff or two because, Dave or Carl or whoever it might
Right.
be is picking it up. And then all of a sudden, all of you get together and realize you've all dropped points based on a misunderstanding of what everyone else was meant to be scoring. It's how you end up with pretty devastating losses. So, yeah, this. Sorry, lads, but I'll be watching very closely to see what comes of this.
The last person.
Let me do the next one. Sorry, please.
I got to shout out Devin here first. I played Devin at the last Chimera GT, and we had a really close game where he was playing Rekkas then, and this was a year ago. I was playing Corsairs, and I think it was like a 2 or 3 point game. So with a year of practice, I think Devin might be another one to watch. Like we had a really close game, and then he's been playing the team clearly for a whole year. He might just poop on everybody. So look forward to
Don't
that.
pair me into him. Rekkas might or might not shit on Wolf Scouts. I can't say in either direction, but
We're
don't
pairing
pair me
Carl
into
into
that.
it. Good luck, Carl.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Fuck him. Okay, next up we have, and the reason I'm doing this is because I want to mention this. Next up we have a team who claim to have a really cool name and are lying. We have Twin Hammer, Reign of the Imperium. I'll pause for applause at that fucking zinger. We have Alex Arthur on Tempestuous Acolons, Ben White on Deathwatch, Mr. Steve Gooby on Angels of Death, Tom Arthur on Kasserkin, and Troy White on Exaction Squad. I don't like Exaction. And I don't mean that in the sense of I think they're bad. I mean that in the sense of in a team's environment, they are an absolute fucking headlock on pairings.
Yep.
You're so frozen by what you do with them. I think the Exaction matchup here and then followed by Deathwatch, if they like double that as a first defender,
right,
or sorry, first and second defender, really kind of pins you a little bit. So there's that aspect of it, and then like we talked about, you've got Acolons, who I think are fairly popular within the entire tournament as well. Yeah, they're joint top for most taken team with Deathwatch, with 4 teams taking them. And obviously Alex is a very good player.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think. I mean, the big one here, obviously, the big standout here is going to have to be Tom on Kasserkin, right?
Yep.
Like, it's the only Kasserkin player here. We looked at Kasserkin, we tested it a little bit, so we kind of understand the machinations of the team ever so slightly. He's been grinding them now for a little while. I think he played them at the last event. He played them at did he play them at the 401 Games event?
Yeah, so he's been playing them since at least December. Like that's the only team that I know that he's been playing. So
yeah,
it's pretty spooky.
Yeah, that's a lot of graft, especially on one team, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think so you see Exaction here and you see Kasserkin, which they're the only 2 playing those teams at the entire tournament. So I think Exaction in particular has that sort of surprise factor, and they're a team that I think can pin shit pretty well on pairings. If you see a melee team on the other team, they can't defend that. They can't do any of these things, or they can't attack with it rather, because you'll just scoop it up. So I think that's pretty interesting, and I know Troy's been putting in a lot of work on that team. He's been on and off them for like at least a year since I've known Troy. So that's one to look out for. And then like you said with Kasserkin, because of the way that they have, I forget the name of the ploy, the one that you can shoot in the strat phase. If you can line that up and you're smart enough to play around that every turning point and line that up in the strat phase, you basically get a free shot. And if you're pairing this into elites with the Melta with Ceaseless, it's pretty devastating into the elite player. And if they fail that one save or something like that, that's just a dead Marine, right? So if Tom can just sort of repeat that play pattern over and over again and identify where he has to do that and play safe otherwise, he might be able to just really, really push the score for the team. So it might be the Twins just out there pushing the points for that team, and that might be what they're doing. So
no pressure, Tom, but you are going to be sweating embryos to get results here, big dog. I believe in you. As I say, the fact that they have 2 completely unique teams on their roster speaks kind of volumes, hopefully, to what these guys are looking to do. So fingers crossed.
Yep.
You want to do the final one?
I would love to.
Go for it.
It's Waypoint Games, captained by Max Honeyball. Honeyball? It was going to kill me. Alex Thompson on Deathwatch, Andrew Downey on Wolf Scouts, Daniel Perry on Nemclaw, Max is on Sanctifiers, and then Patrick Whittingham on Blades of Cain. Uh,
Okay. Okay.
all spooky
Uh
teams. Like they have Blades of Cain here, which is another one. We talked about this with Dan's team, and I think this is another really sick pick by them. Sanctifiers by Max. Like obviously Max is an insane player and constantly puts up results, and then I think he's coming out of left field with Sanctifiers, where everyone's been pretty down on them since the past data slate, but I think he got third or fourth at the last like the TGX GT that just came out.
yeah.
Um, so he obviously knows what the team's about. He's been making them work even despite all of those nerfs. Um, and then you've got three elite teams, which they're shitting on everyone right now. So just another solid and scary team.
Yeah, it's a fairly elite meta.
Yep.
I say elite meta. That's probably a bit unfair, but I think the two top performing teams are largely elite, right? We have Canoptic and Wolf
Yeah.
Scouts. Deathwatch are always, yeah, they're you put all of the onus on your opponent, which in a singles environment is fine. But in a teams environment where it's like, okay, you need to play fairly risk averse here. And also, if the one time you actually turn the risk factor up a little bit, you just bounce into a Deathwatch operative, that's game defining, right?
Yep.
So having them is very handy. And again, like we talked about, right? They've got Blades of Cain, another very good faction to have in your roster. So pairing this is going to be tricky. I hope you've brought something to deal with elites if you're playing into Waypoint, because it's going to be a tricky one to pair across the board. It's pretty stinky. Don't give me the mirror. I hate the mirror.
Yeah, me too. I don't know. There's only one other Vespid player. I don't want to deal with it.
Nah, you're safe. There's only two. There's two. Fuck. There's two other Wolf Scouts players. I don't want to do the mirror again.
You're having the mirror against Brendan. The showdown. It's gonna happen.
Oh, the second time. Can't wait. Deary bloody me. Cool. So yeah, that's who we have who is actually playing in the event.
Yes.
Now, old Jimmy Mustard was kind enough to put the pairings up for us in advance, so we know which team is playing whom. So do you want to take a quick look through those and just play some bets? Who do we think is winning out of each pairing and why? Let's go with why as well. Why not?
So the first pairing that we have is Waypoint. So that's the team we just looked at with Max on Sanctifiers, the three elites and Blades of Cain, versus Vivek's team, which was Canoptic, AOD. What else did we have on Vivek's team? Wolf Scouts, Mandrakes, and I'm blanking on their last one. Oh, Nemclaw.
And Nemclaw, yeah.
Yeah,
I know. And both of us feel it. Oh, well, fuck you then. I'll do it.
Yeah.
My money right here is on Waypoint Games, and I'll tell you why. Right?
Yes.
First of all, nasty team comp, violent team comp, right? Because I think you can, for Vivek's team, I think he can strip out one or two unfavorable matchups, but you're still giving them three at that point, right? And that's if Vivek chooses to first defend. If Vivek chooses to let them first defend or they win that roll off, all of a sudden they have a bit more parity or decision in that. The second point I would make to that as well is that when I look at both teams, I need to think about who is the more experienced player when it comes to pairings. And I know Vivek does a lot of Maple Leaf Wargaming pairings when they go to 40k events, but he has a nice laptop and he has a matrix and he has data and he has stat check and he has all of these resources that funnel into this. Whereas when we did the 5-man team event at the last tournament, Max was largely running our pairings on Vibes, and Vibes got better results. So I think Max is very, very good at pairings, and I think that coupled with the very, very good team that Waypoint Games has brought, that's where I'm putting my money. If I had to put a nice little parlay on, they would be step one of it.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and to not glaze Max too hard. I think.
Nah, do it. He loves it.
He does love it. I think maybe more than anyone else at this tournament, he's really, really good at pushing. Just his play style. Yeah. He played Felgor for a long time, and he's gotta be the most aggressive player I play against. And if you're not ready for that and you don't have a plan for that, or if he gets a good matchup, it's just oppressive. It'll 21 for you, and that's exactly what you want about someone in that seat where he's going to push a big score and he's going to do it every single time and he knows how to do it. So I think on Vivek's team, Aiden does that, but if it was Void Dancers, maybe that would swing my math. But he's on Angels of Death, and I know he played Void Dancers only for a long, long time. So I think having that type of edge with someone who's experienced in doing that type of stuff and knows the matchups and has a team that's out of left field I think he'll push the score pretty well.
Nice. Good. Okay. We're so far we're in alignment. It's
We're-
going to break at some point. But so far we're in alignment. Who do we got next?
I'm doing this one. The
fuck.
People's Democratic Republic of Little St. James versus the Dirty Meta Chasers. This is George team, which is Jaegers, AOD, Mandrakes, Aquilons, and Deathwatch versus Stealth Suits, Kroot, Rekkas. I forget the other two. I don't know why I'm trying to remember them off the top of my head.
No, don't do it off memory. Just vibes, my man. Vibes.
George isn't gonna win. I'm not putting my money on George. I'm putting my money.
Fuck George. Fuck George.
Also, we beat him 2 times in the test round, so this is an easy one for the People's Republic.
A good win for the island. Let's just say the island boys. The island boys themselves. Yeah, as I say, my prediction for this is that the pairings will favor the Dirty Meta Chasers because George, in his infinite wisdom, he will overthink it. But their pairings process will take 45 minutes. They have Angel, George, Joe, and Steve, and Spencer, actually, all of whom play at a sort of glacial pace. I have a chess clock. I'm not bringing it if we pair this team. I will be bringing a sundial because that's how you measure the speed of their turns. So I reckon Joe rolls only 2s and 1s, bombs out, gives up a nasty 20, yeah, fuck George. That's all I'm saying. Fuck.
Fair.
Island boys for the win.
Yep. Let's go Island boys.
Cool.
You have to do this one. The Sultans of Slop, us, versus the Fanta 5 Tick, which is Charlie's team.
The Fanta 5 Tick.
That's what they're called, yeah.
Charlie's
I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it.
I think it is actually, yeah, scientifically. English isn't my first language. I would like to say us. I would like to say us. In fact, I'd love to say us because I want to win this round so fucking badly. And yet, simultaneously, unfortunately, I was born with the gift of sight and I have seen us play. Mm-hmm. So I have to go with the unknown because I already know that we are ass. Yep. So I have to go with the Fanta 5 Tick. One of us is getting Brood Brothered, 100%.
Yeah.
That's just going to be a 20. We have no control over that. That's over before it even begins. If I play Mateo, I'm going to run into every single fucking mine he puts down because I'm sick of these Jaeger players being like, fuck you. I'm just running into it. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
No, this is horrendous. I don't know how we pair this. So I'm taking the Fanta 5 Tick. Fuck us.
Yeah, they're one of the teams with Rekkas, and I think that's been, you and I talked about this, one of the big blind spots for us. And Charlie's playing it. So I don't know what we're supposed to do against that. I guess we'll figure it out. We'll do it live, figure it out the day of. But
we'll do it live, yeah.
I hope Carl's bringing lots of scones because we'll need something to snack on after we get our teeth kicked in.
Well, it'll be a quick game at least. We can go to fucking Tim Hortons. Holy moly. If we're not frozen to death. Yeah, I can't see us taking that one somehow.
Yep.
Maybe I think it's called Common Sense. And then finally, you're doing this. I'm not repeating that name. Jesus Christ.
Twin Hammer, Reign of the Imperium versus Team Name Pending, that's Dylan and Dan's team, the Barry dudes, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I think...
The Barry dudes.
Whatever. I think this is the Barry crew taking this one. That's my hot take. I really like the Blades of Cain pick. Hot. I think Dan's played Blades of Cain a few times from what I've seen, and I think that's going to surprise people and it's going to catch people off guard. This was one of the team comps that I saw it, and I was like, how the fuck do you pair against this? It was like Canoptic, Nemclaw, Blades of Cain, and I think there was Mandrakes in there too. Like it's like 4 teams out of the top 6 teams that I could name off the top of my head are there, right? So I think they've got it all covered. And again, I talked about this before. There's 3 people in there that I've never played against, and that's terrifying. And I think that goes for all of us in the Southern Ontario scene, where it's just they're going to come in and probably just beat the Twins' teeth in. So that's my hot take.
It's a good take. You're wrong, but it's a great take. Ben White, nasty 20 out of the gate. He's hitting a 20. Don't pair him. He's him, right? Forget it. It's over, right? Followed up, evil fucking Troy. He's going to double parry his way to an evil tie, right? There you go. The Twins are on 30 already. They need 24 points from the remaining 3 players. Tom is going to rip an elite off the board with a Melta. It is going to happen. He's going to do it 3 times. Tom for the win, right? Out of nowhere, like a fucking stallion, like Gandalf with big naturals on the 11th day or whatever fucking happened at Helm's. What was it called?
Helm's Deep. You got to watch this movie.
It's a fucking castle. How can it be deep? Anyway, right? I diverge, right? Steve Gooby, he's coming in. He's whipping off the cloak or whatever he does, right? And he's going to point his stick. Boom. They win the round. Twin hammer. Reign of the Imperial. It comes up. Twin hammer.
Jesus Christ.
It comes up like sharp. The return of the king. Twin hammer.
And it's just got
Easy
the
win.
twins back to back on a shirt, and they just do one of those where they reveal it.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%. That's exactly what's going to happen. That's what's going to play out. So team name pending for the win for me as well.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, dearie me. Yeah. If anyone's listened this far, you're glutton for punishment, honestly. Holy Christ.
Yeah. You have one bald guy. I'm also bald, but I'm not going to show you, so.
Nah, keep the hat on.
Yeah, I'm keeping it on.
The only one question I had for you, I know it's kind of difficult to revert this back to seriousness now. Are there any teams for you that are, because I know there's one for me, are there any teams for you that are conspicuous in their absence from this list? For example, mine is Goremongers. I'm shocked we don't have a Goremongers player.
Yeah, I could see that one. I think the 2 for me that stood out, actually there's 3. I'm going to throw 3 out there. One
3? Wow, okay.
One is Ravs.
Ravs,
you and I chatted a bit about Ravs, and like, I think under the right circumstances, and like you said, with the right type of player and the right team, I think they're quite good at keeping the score close. I think there's a lot of matchups where into some melee teams that just don't want to play into Ravs. If people were predicting a lot of melee teams, I think Ravs could have been sick. If there's going to be a lot of Felgor, a lot of Gores, a lot of stuff like that, I think Ravs would have done quite well. But that obviously isn't what happened. Felgor was another one. You were testing Felgor. You talked about that a bit. I was expecting there to be some Felgor just as like, here's a melee team in our pairings process, deal with it. And I know a lot of people, A, don't have a lot of exposure into Felgor, and B, they are stupid resilient. Just because you kill them once and then I'm still here, I'm still going to score my flank, I'm still going to be on the point, I'm still in your engagement range. That's just really fucking annoying and really hard to deal with if you don't know.
Yeah, if you don't understand the machinations exactly of frenzy, right? Because we discovered that even in our test games that we were like throwing good money after bad. Like, we'll frenzy out that operative. Oh, it doesn't actually work that way. And this is like, I wouldn't say you and I are like the smartest cookies on planet Earth, but we've played a couple of games and we're still like, oh no, we fucked that up.
Yep.
So yeah, cool. And then what's the third one?
The third one? No, you wish. You wish. It is a King's team. The third one was Hand of the Archon. Henry locally has been playing a lot of this, and he's been cleaning up. And I think they're one of those teams that just rip apart elites. They have access to 2 Melta guns. I think they have all these crit promotion ploys. It's just a nightmare for elite teams to actually deal with this. I think if you had that team on your team, there's 2 or 3 elite teams on almost every single team that we're seeing, right? So if Hand of the Archon is on your team and you're doing pairings, you have to make sure that you don't pair those elites into that Hand of the Archon player, which messes up your entire pairing process. So I think that could have been a sick counter pick if someone had it.
Yeah, I think as well, you kind of have to recognize that it probably is going to be a lot of elites, right? A very safe floor. I think there's only 2 things that I kind of haven't mentioned so far. I just realized that my hockey cup is on my kitchen counter and has been there this entire time, so that's a good start. And secondly, you mentioned them there, obviously, Hand of the Archon, which is Henry. Shout out Henry's mum, she's a baddie. And that's about all for me. I don't know if there's anything kind of else for yourself.
No, I think that's it. Thanks for listening to us spew a bunch of shit at you guys. Would love to hear if you guys like this sort of format. We've got a lot of tournaments coming up on Southern Ontario, some of them team events, some of them not. So if this is something people enjoy, I'm happy to just do like a pre-tournament breakdown with you before some of these upcoming events and just shout out everyone in our scene. So our scene's great. It's been growing. So everyone who's coming, I can't wait to see you guys on Sunday and looking forward to going 0-3 in the mandatory beers.
0-3.
0-3.
See you on Sunday. Thank you for listening to this drivel.
Yeah. Talk to you guys later. Bye.
Peace.